Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Seek Sustainable Japan. I'm JJWalsh, and today we are talking about very innovative idea for reusing old houses in rural Japan, bringing in the community and visitors together. Very innovative. Excited to talk to these two amazing women, Tamaki Nishimura and Monika Sadkiewicz. Yeah,
Good
did I
job.
get close? Okay.
Yes. Very good. Yes.
Thanks so much for joining, you guys. It's wonderful. Wonderful to have you here.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having us. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So your project, your business is called PlanetDAO,
Yes.
and it's a very innovative way to make use of Japan's rural areas where we actually have a lot of very valuable areas, very valuable properties which aren't being protected. And that's kind of the core of your main idea. Is that right?
Right.
How did you get the idea? Tamaki, I'll ask you as the founder, like, where did this idea come from to do something like this?
Sure. So, my background is tourism, I would say. Yeah. Ever since I started my career, I was always in the inbound tourism where we used to make the platform where the inbound tourists can book their local experiences to kind of see the deep side of Japan, like tofu making tour with a tofu master, and even when we make the bar hopping tour, we always bring the tourists to where like no other tourists go to, only like local Japanese people go to. That was the kind of service that we were providing. But because of the COVID, we had to shut down the business. And during the downtime, the NFT Bitcoin was pretty big in Japan in 2021 to 22. But that's how I got to know about cryptocurrency and also the concept of DAO. And what I was passionate about is the concept of the DAO, because that's where the individuals gather to pursue one single goal. Yeah, no matter like where they come from and no matter what gender they are and nationality and all. So that I thought that idea could fit in to solve the problem of Japan, which we are losing the culture, and no one from the government or local government are not really helping out. Yeah, and we solve the problem with the power of individuals, and I kind of combined the concept of the DAO and then also problem that we have, and those fans who love about Japan. Yeah, that's how we came up.
So DAO means decentralized autonomous organization.
Yes.
Right? So a very different kind of community focused kind of organization. Is that right?
Yes, you're right.
And Planet, because your connection is to the environment, to sustainability, to local communities and cultures.
Right.
Is that right?
Right. And also, I name it Planet because Planet is like no one owns a planet, right? But everyone can use it. So I named it PlanetDAO because for those Japanese properties that are not being used has the same problem and has the same possibility too. Yeah, can be open for anyone to use it, but actually owned by not single one person, but owned by people who has the same will or goal.
Yeah, that's great. When I was talking to Michelle Huang about her project, it was really exciting. And I think there's some parallels there to what you're doing with PlanetDAO and what she's doing with the AKIYA Collective.
Right.
Really exciting to have these women-led, new, innovative, entrepreneur-focused. It's wonderful community building. Now, Monika, you're the community manager.
Correct.
So how did you get inspired and interested in joining this project?
Long story short, I've been teaching mainly in Japan for about now it's over a decade, but it was at that time post-COVID, it was about 7 years. And I kind of got burnt out. And, there are multiple factors. One thing that I realized is that a lot of people want to contribute to Japan, but because of lack of Japanese, not knowing the legal structure, and in general, the cultural differences in business, a lot of people couldn't help Japan or support Japan as much as they were willing to, or simple issues like me and my partner trying to rent an apartment after so many years. I've been living in Japan for half of my life, yet it took us a longer while. And sometime during this journey, we did consider AKIYAs. My mom renovated my sister's room, my former room, my old room, all by herself. So she was involving us into that too. So there's a mixture of a lot of factors. But right when I decided to stop teaching full time, Tamaki reached out. So as she mentioned, the inbound tourism project, we both worked on it in 2017. That was in my early 20s. And I had the pleasure to meet Tamaki, and we stayed in touch. We didn't really talk, right? We didn't really comment on each other posts or anything, but we just, stayed connected. And then randomly, in fact, a few days after I resigned, Tamaki reached out and asked me if I'm willing to have a meeting. And I'm like, oh, wow, we haven't talked to each other for 7 years. Hi, But I said, of course. Like, I remember she was always really kind, very driven, and very nice, and very, very powerful woman from the very early 20s for Tamaki. So it all made sense. The fact that I could be, this little chameleon between Japanese culture and, foreign culture, and also be the bridge and connecting all the dots, and the passion for sustainability, for nature, for giving back to Japan, but also helping and supporting the foreigners. And on top of that, my grandma at some point, also about 5 years ago, passed away, and that kind of exposed me to the elderly issue in Japan. That there are so many of people who are having so much to share, traditions and knowledge and wisdom and things that really, like, back in their days, there was no internet. Like, there's no way we can, it's time for us to take action and do something to spread the word. So I saw a big potential with Japan having such a huge, aging society. Statistics, it just made sense to proceed with the project. And yeah, I'm still here. First, I told her to put me on probation, but I enjoy it more and more, and I'm working more and more.
That's great. So let's talk. You've got two projects. One, the fundraising has completely finished, and one, the fundraising is ongoing. You're still trying to recruit new people to be involved in the project. Which one would you like to start with? The one that you're still going? Should we start with that? Get people excited about being a part? So tell us, this is project number 2. Right? And tell us a little bit about it. It's in Kanagawa. So only an hour from Tokyo, right?
Yes. That place is called Hayama, where it's a place where people who live in Tokyo, if they're looking for the summer house or second houses in Japan, then Hayama can be the really top ranked area, in Japan, because it's really accessible from Tokyo, but it has a many rich history and also nature there. There's a beach called Ishiki Beach, known as one of the best, top 100 beaches, worldwide. And also it has the Imperial Villa too. So I heard this story from the local real estate agency that those local people have seen the emperor running, doing the running, jogging in Hayama too. Yeah, so it has it's really beautiful place. And the location within Hayama city, there's a area called Kamiyamaguchi. This is known as the Satoyama, and it's really rare to have the Satoyama in very accessible place from Tokyo, and it has the very big Tanara. And the place where we have the location is on top of the hill in the area that used to be the former leader of the area, and he was a farmer. So I think in his thinking, he wasn't not really buying a house, but more of he was buying the field that came with the house. So the house itself comes with the very big, huge field, or now it's a forest, 7,000 square meter forest comes with it. So to get to the property, you need to walk at least 3 to 4 minutes from the main
Feels
road.
like a hike
Yes, it does actually.
in
Yeah, main
between
road is not
all the
really.
bamboos.
Yeah, how do we call it? Like it's not. There's no
It's
like
a little bit
concrete.
rough.
Yeah,
Mhm.
road too. So it's really hard. It was hard for the former owner to find another person who wants to live in the property for the like daily lives. But we found it pretty that the property is going to be pretty interesting place for the traveler who wants to experience the retreat kind of essence of the place. I've taken some people who are interested in this project to the place, and the first thing that they always say is 空気がきれい. So the air is so clean. And once you step into the area, you won't really hear the city noises, and the smell is like the forest. So even though it's really accessible from Tokyo and even from the Tsushi station, which is the main station in Hayama, you'll really enjoy the whole package of retreat place there.
Now I'm showing the renovation idea for the project. So to give people a sense of how it works, you're asking for people to be one of the investors, which is co-owners.
Right.
And then they would have dividends coming back after it becomes a rental property.
Right.
They would also be invited to be a part of community events or even stay at the place. Is that right?
Right. A lot of people ask us if what we are providing is like a timeshare. And it does have the essence of timeshare because we provide like use of the property for co-owners. But the biggest difference from that is when we generate the revenue from the vacation rental business, we pay out we distribute the dividend back to the investors. So we have a lot of investors coming from abroad. They're now living in Japan. So they're not coming to Japan every year, right? So even though they don't use the right, they can still enjoy the dividend. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really interesting concept, right? Like not just to have a rental property, not just to have a timeshare,
Right.
but to actually be an investor in this project idea.
Right.
You're very ambitious. You want to do 10 properties like this in the next 5 years. Is that right?
Actually, 5 more properties. Yeah, more than that. 5 more properties in this year.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. How do you find these properties? How does that work? Like there's so many areas in Japan which have so much value.
Right.
Are you looking for like a certain dynamic in the community where you have the property? It's not just about the property, I imagine.
Right.
It's more
Right.
about
No, it's not.
the
You're right.
community and the whole package. Is that right?
You're right. So a lot of people ask us like, what's the criteria, of the property and how we find those properties. And as you said, we are not only looking for the property. We are looking for first of all the owner or someone from the local area who has the powerful will to that they want to preserve those property and pass it on to the future. And also those local teams who they can work with us, because for us, we will be like new to the area and we need to kind of like learn from zero. But I think local people will know the best about the area. So property plus those team is very, very important for us. But we cannot really find those locations on the third platform, like real estate platform, like Sumo. So those
Unfortunately.
property always come from the connections.
That is a common story, right? Of people like at the Minka Summit, they might start with the AKIYA Bank looking at the available properties, but then once they start spending time there, meeting locals, then they have connections to the better places,
Right.
which are available. And that's good to do it that way because then the local people also have more trust or familiarity with them, right?
Right. Right.
Monika, you were talking about on one of the podcasts that you guys have done, talking about going many times to develop the relationship before you take on a project. Is that right?
Yes, yes. it's an ongoing process. And for us, trust and authenticity are two main factors. And just because of the DAO structure in general, our project and its mission, without the local community, we cannot accomplish our mission. So we are the facilitator and we are the, let's say, provider, the middle person. But we do need the locals. We do need the local community to help us. So the relationship is very important. But as you know, it's a very fragile thing because again, we're a company coming from from Tokyo, or bringing investors. So sometimes it takes a while for them to understand, also because our I would dare to say that our project is kind of complex how it works. So we need to make sure that they understand how we do it, when we do it, what's our main goal, what are the steps, so there is no misunderstanding. So yes, visits, but also ongoing phone calls and messages, and trying to accommodate and support them before we actually decide to first they need to get to like us and trust us, and I think that's the most important part. But luckily our founders are really good at it. Tamaki and June are amazing at doing that. And and it's a beautiful journey. I'm really happy that we're able to go to such places.
Yeah. And it's so important when we're talking about tourism, over tourism, local people feeling like they have no value from their own area because so many people are coming in, right? So that idea of having the local people have a clear benefit from these projects. You mentioned 40% of the organization is kept with the local people. Is that right?
You're right.
Yes,
So yeah,
correct.
it's really important because those two properties were actually approached from the individual who are willing to buy. But if one individual hold the whole ownership, then there will be no involvement from the local people, right? That's what they don't like about, and that they want to. That's what they want to avoid too. So that's one of the reasons why we involve those local people in the decision making, and also make promises, with the local people as well.
Yeah, interesting. I think are you wearing bracelets or something? There's like a noise when you move your hands, Tamaki.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe this. Sorry,
Okay. Yeah, maybe hold it up a little bit. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm here.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
Sorry
all
about
about the audio, right? Now, I think people might be wondering, like, who are the investors? Because your information is so clear in English. You have a real focus on international people, but most of your investors are actually in Japan. Is that right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you very
Go ahead.
much. So, yes, that's true. This is the case of our first property. So, obviously, based on the address or where they're located, the big amount of people came from Japan, who are our friends and acquaintances, and people locally supporting our idea. But surprisingly, the number one is United States. We have some people from Australia and Singapore, UK and other places as well. But I think one common thing within our investors bank is the fact that they all are connected with two things. One, they have love for Japan, and two, they want to contribute. So the contribution is beyond the financial contribution, because of course, as I usually say in one-on-one calls, like if you want to have big profit and you focus on the financial bit, there are many different companies that you can invest into. But for us, the contribution is very important. So it's not only investing; it's the fact that you are not only open to network within all the co-owners. Get to know everybody, but also you're fully involved in the decision-making process. We have ongoing communication going. You have the Zoom calls every month, and other ways for you to contribute. So we don't want to be, I'll use a very drastic word, but we don't want to invade and flip the property and then generate profits. This is not how our project works. So we want the locals and the co-owners to contribute, because we believe that if we have global community with the local community supporting each other and ongoingly contributing and being involved in the decision making, so many beautiful things can come up, because if it's our team, then it's limited to XYZ amount of people plus the locals. But if we open it globally, there's so many beautiful perspectives and different angles that can be included for the property, for it to prosper, but not just for the financial benefits, but also to help to revitalize the area and support the local communities. And they really do need that. And also the tourism bit that you mentioned earlier, I think it's necessary for us to open new streams, new places. And also, to be honest, like, okay, you come to Japan, you go to Tokyo, take a picture with Hachiko, go to Harajuku, and then go Kyoto and probably Osaka. You might go to Hokkaido. And then the next time you come, are you going to do the same thing? I don't think so. And the more you come, and there are many co-owners that actually visit regularly Japan, and they have deep love and sense of understanding or willingness to understand Japan on a deeper, more essential level, for whatever the reasons that they might have. I think it's very nice that they can come here and already have friends, meaning the locals that they talk to via Zoom, or maybe us, so they can call us or come to our office on Friday and actually have a coffee with us, meet us in person, and get some ideas of where to go next. So that's something that I hear from our investors too, that they're happy that, oh, now I'm not alone. When I come to Japan, there's somebody that I can meet, somebody that I can ask a question, and somebody who can refer me to another person. So that's the power. And also the locals. Our locals are amazing, and I miss them dearly. It's been a while. I can't wait to go again and talk to them. And it's the sense of this kind of extended family, I would love that to spread within
Totally
our
right. And
community.
it's more meaningful travel. It's more impactful. And I think, Monika, exactly what you said. There's a lot of people who come and see all the big top sites and be with the crowds. But the next time they come to Japan, and Japan is a really popular return destination, they're looking for something more slow travel, more rural area. But access, how do they find out how to connect to it? And then
Exactly.
ownership of something like this will give them that connection to community, right? Tamaki, you
Exactly.
talked about the psychological ownership. Can you talk about that a little bit? It's a
Oh,
lovely idea.
maybe Monica can cover that idea.
Yeah, so we believe that psychological ownership is a big part of our project, just because obviously, if you are involved in the decision making, and if you attend these meetings, and if you get the updates from us, at some point you will really feel like the owner of the place. So I believe that if you pay the money, and then the company or whoever facilitate or whatever is taking care of everything, and then once a year you get some kind of return, it's great. But the psychological part is not there. But if you actually can say, okay, I contributed to this and this project, we saved this and this property, I met this local community, and on top of that, this and this and this was my idea, and we talked about it, and this is how it looks like, and on top of that, the fact that they can bring friends and they can promote with us. I think that's the extension of the benefits. And also, what I appreciate is that the fact that our co-owner bank is very, very diverse. So we have all the professions that you can imagine. So sometimes when people ask me, who is our investor, I'm like, people who love Japan. That's the core of it. People who want to contribute and love Japan. But going back, I feel like a lot of good ideas can be born because people actually, give us idea, and we open space because of the psychological ownership and also the trust that we focus on with our co-owners. I feel like people gradually, I can see it from the 001, the first property that you can see behind me and behind behind Tamaki. I feel like people are more open to share and give us ideas. So yeah, and sometimes they have very strong ideas, strong opinions, and that's good. I believe we need that, and that can actually lead to higher progress and better benefits for everybody.
I'm sure that's also a challenging part, right? Because you have
Yes.
people come with very strong opinions. How do you manage that community element? Like, is there a hierarchy by people who have more of an investment versus, just locals? Like, there must be differences of opinion. What's your
Um,
strategy for managing that?
Good question, JJ. So, I believe that it's all going down to what kind of relationship we want to try to have. So, I really do contemplate and think about the type of community that we want to have, and I even started to think that maybe we shouldn't call that a meeting. Meetings are for work. Me and Tamaki can have a meeting, but we are gathering together to share ideas, and I think the friendly part of it is important too. Obviously, we are professional, but also the fact that I care about them, and it might be the teacher's thing, I don't know. But if somebody tells me details and they're even saying one sentence about something personal, if they're comfortable with that, I show them that I care and I try to support them as well. So I feel like the respect that we show to them, because we cannot demand respect, but if we maintain the respectful open conversation, saying thank you to everybody, using words like please, and I know it's such a simple concept, but this is the base, and I feel like sometimes people forget about that, focusing on the profits and focusing on the, I don't know, agenda or whatever, and they don't really open for the conversation. So I feel like facilitating that, asking a lot of questions, being open, being accessible. If somebody wants to have a meeting with me, they have access to, they can ask me anywhere. WhatsApp, LinkedIn, email. We're easily accessible. Same with Tamaki. If somebody wants to talk directly to the founder, it's very rare, but Tamaki makes time for each and every person. And as for the opinions, I feel like if you are in that kind of atmosphere, well, yet we have not seen anyone, bumping into each other, and we remain open. But again, we do not force anyone to contribute. So if there is somebody, and I do have few individuals who said, "I just want to watch," and that's fine. Or I'm just waiting for this to actually kick off, and I'm not interested in receiving too many emails or too many updates, or I don't want to be in a WhatsApp group. And we don't take it we don't take it personally. It's totally fine. And if they want to if they want to come for the meetings or the gatherings that we open for everybody, in the middle of the initiative that we are working on, they're more than welcome to join at any time. We take extra hi extra hi Harmony, yes. Hi
We have a
handsome.
cat visitor joining.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
cute. That's
So what I
okay.
was saying. Yeah, so we open for everybody, and they can join at any point, and we understand that they have their own lives and own jobs, but we take extra steps to make them feel welcome, and there's no pressure. And I think if you don't put any pressure for people, you just make it open and make sure that you ask a lot of questions, they get more comfortable. And yeah, some people are getting curious, and we have more people, joining our meetings, and that makes me really happy.
That's wonderful. So the property itself is really interesting. It's in a bamboo forest. So the actual forest area is a big part of the appeal. One of the ideas is to have like an outdoor bath in the forest, to have a sauna out there. But one of the big challenges is there's no toilet. So raising money and getting the structure to a safe level, so that it is comfortable to use. This is something Alex Kerr always talks about, right? To bring
Yes.
it into modern relevance. You want to protect the heritage and the aesthetic of it, but you want to make it comfortable. You want to make it a very nice place to stay or to live, right?
Right.
And is there a bunker? Did I hear that there was
Yes.
like a
Air raid
wartime shelter
shelter.
or
Yes.
something there?
Yes. Yes. We
That's
have
so
an air raid
interesting.
shelter from World War II.
Wow.
It has not been opened for years. We don't know how many years. For now, it remains closed, but I'm really, the little child inside me is really curious and really excited to actually see and have a closer look at it. So there's this heritage bit as well.
That's really interesting. Having that connection to local history, I think makes it even more appealing, right? The mystery of what happened in the past. Often we don't have people who remember, right? So you might uncover some really interesting stories. And then
Yes,
some of the activities we have on the screen right now, you can enjoy while you're there: forest bathing and open air bath. Also, learning how to do rice farming, helping out with rice farming, and then a
correct.
beautiful beach, like Tamaki said. There's a gorgeous beach nearby.
Yes. The second property is actually very interesting, just like Tamaki mentioned. It does feel like this secluded, very serene, very peaceful place. So this is just my opinion, but I think a lot of people who have visited the site will agree that it's a perfect space for retreat because it not only makes you immerse yourself in the nature, and because you are in the middle of the forest, it's quiet, it's peaceful, the air is great, and I feel like it gives you a lot of let's say it provides you an opportunity to look within, contemplate, and I believe that it would be great for people who want to relax but also who want to get creative. I feel like this is a really good place where you can kind of stay for a bit and um, think, contemplate, or work on something that's very important for you, and also regenerate your energy and connect with what's essential, because bamboo is such a symbolic an essential feature of Japan. And we do have 7,000 meters square of land, so that's why the sauna and the outdoor bath is kind of an ideal, but also maybe having some kind of path to walk around and discover and really, take your time in the middle, yet you're connected to everywhere because, again, Kamakura is nearby. You have beaches you can do, SUP, the stand-up paddle, and there are many activities actually, especially near Hayama. So you can actually be active and have this, happy beach life, but then like go somewhere that's very, very secluded and kind of look within. I think it's very, very interesting. And if I missed anything, Tamaki, please add on top of it.
So yeah, we were actually applying for some grants from Kanagawa Prefecture too, since Kanagawa has many tourism spots, just like Hakone or Kamakura, where tourism come to. But Hayama is a place where they don't really have many tourists who stay there. So Kanagawa Prefecture wants to have more places like Hayama where that they hold those spots that the tourists can appreciate, but for them to kind of like do the longer stay. So it's I think our concept will fit into what they want to do too, for tourists to kind of relax and not doing the only visiting the famous tourism spot, but also like enjoy the local lives. I think experiencing the locals' lives.
So at the moment, you have 82 investors. The deadline has been extended to the end of March, end of
Yes.
this month, and 24 days left of the fundraising. We'll talk about the fundraiser that you successfully completed before. How you feeling? Hopeful that you will definitely get the fundraising for this second project? How you feeling?
Always,
Mhm.
always hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm always hopeful.
Mm.
And yeah, I think it was the same with the first property. I always believe that we can achieve it. And yeah, we will see what future brings. There's still time. And I believe there are many people who are willing to contribute. It's just a matter of timing and matter of finding them.
Mm.
And yeah, I hope we can find more people to support our project, and I'm looking forward to meeting everybody in person or via Zoom or online.
Yeah, wonderful. So from the pack of information from the website, can you explain a little bit about how it works as you become an investor, as a co-owner, and what
Mhm.
PlanetDAO does? Can you just give us a little overview of this chart?
Sure. So this structure actually a model depends on like which location and what kind of discussion that we will have with the owners. But PlanetDAO 001 and 002 are pretty much the same structure. So we transfer the ownership of the property from the former owner to each KK 株式会社. For the first project was PlanetDAO 001, and for this one it's PlanetDAO 002. So the co-owners are going to become the investor and shareholders of those companies. And of course, as their shareholder, they will have the equity, which means that they can have the voting right and also the right to receive the dividend. And as you mentioned, 40%, about 40% of the shares goes to the locals too, but they don't need to like invest to become the member of the community. The investors are the one who are covering all the renovation fee and also acquiring the property. Yeah. And how Planet Labs involves is, of course, there's many individuals in the community. So we will have facilitate the community's one, and also do the management of the property. But we will outsource the how do you call it, the actual works for the vacation rental. We are relying on the local team who initially introduced the property to us. So for Hayama, we have the local team who operate 2 more kominkas in the area. And also for Ryogo, for 001 project, we have another team who runs the temple stay there. So it's the combination of the multiple companies' work.
It's great to have that collaboration because creating the project, doing the renovations, getting the funding, that's your part of it. And then
Right.
having
Yes.
people actually manage the accommodation, that's a very different kind of business that you need, right? So it's
Exactly.
great to have a collaborator for that.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. All right, let's talk about a little bit about the kind of properties you're looking at. I found this really interesting. You have A and B, the World Heritage, the National Treasures, and then C and D is maybe tangible cultural properties, historical buildings, but they don't get funding from the government. They usually don't get a lot of attention.
Right.
And it's really the bottom two that you're focused on. Is that right?
Yes. Exactly.
Yes,
Yes.
that's correct.
Yeah.
So just as you mentioned, the A and B is well supported by the government, and it doesn't really require any specific individual for its significance and the need to be widely understood. But when it comes to the bottom two, usually there are certain grants and certain help from the government that you can get. But one, you need to understand how it works. Two, you need to understand how to apply. Three, you need a specific individual to go through the process and actually, fill in everything. So it's not kind of, as we say in Japanese, it's not as atarimae. So there are many properties that could actually get help, but unless there is somebody taking the responsibility of, not maintenance, but actually simply applying and doing the research and putting in the work to even be considered for the property to be considered. It requires more work and steps and the individual. So simply because of that, the last two in the pyramid are not as supported. And that's exactly what we are aiming at. So we are interested in properties that are not only registered as the cultural sites and the heritage sites, but simply we can say things like temples, kominkas, machillas, everything that has been here for a longer while. And when we say longer while, we look at properties before the World War II, so it's like 1950. The definition of kominka, you would dare to say. And Tamaki, if there is anything I missed, fill me in.
Actually, to reach the our goal of finding 5 more properties in this year, we are actually meeting a lot of owners who owns the historic houses or even like important registered tangible properties. They're having difficulty, and I found the similarity in the owners that they all are in 80s or 90s, so they really worry about what's to do with the property, and also they don't want to pass the responsibility to their child because they're taking it's on them. Like all the management and all the repairing fees are coming from their individual expenses. So they don't want the burden to like pass it to the next generations. So they're actively consulting with the local government and all, but they never got responses. Yeah, for several years. That's really a common thing happening.
I've heard that around the world too. Like taking on heritage properties is often there's a lot of red tape in how you can renovate and the responsibility of preserving heritage, but often it doesn't make sense, right? It's really convoluted kind of systems.
Yes. Right. I feel
why
like this is the last.
We have some great comments. People are loving the kitty. Your kitty loves you so much. And
Harmony.
Comment from
Taking a
Corey.
nap. Say hi.
Kitty saying hi. Gorgeous.
Yeah, he's a rescue from Nara.
Oh, nice. Corey McGowan from LinkedIn saying it's great to have this introduced. I'd love to talk to you about getting a project like this in Minakami.
Oh.
So you must have people reaching out from other areas of Japan saying, oh, this would be a great next project. You probably get a lot of referrals or insights that way than just searching like the Minka bank or the AKIYA bank, right?
But actually, we don't really have many articles about us in Japanese yet. So we are still like in a process of making strategy how we can have some presence in Japan and all. So it's still like connection basis. We talk to some people who we know, and they are referring us to those co-owners, to property owners. Yeah. That's the current situation. So we really appreciate this kind of opportunity.
Thank you, JJ.
It's wonderful. Let's talk about the first project because you just reached the funding and then the project is going to be finished, the renovation finished by 2026 next year. So it's kind of in the process now, right? So this was a project in Wakayama, is that right? Near the Kumano Pilgrimage Trail. Tell us about it.
Would you like to talk about it, Monika?
Yeah, I love talking about our first property, of course. Yes, so our first, as you can see in my background, our first property, thank you, is a 170 years old temple in Nachikatsura, Wakayama Prefecture, which is well known for Kumano Kodo pilgrimage road, which is actually recognized by as a UNESCO site because it connects 3 different religions. And the Kumano religion, the Shinto, and the Buddhism all in one place. So the property is in that area, and it's a stunning property. It's big, and the view is simply outstanding. And it's again on top of the hill, and we have lovely local community that has taken an incredible good care of the temple. But again, it had only 4 supporters, and one of them, who was actually the head of the local community, said that his biggest wish is before he closes his eyes to see this the temple of his childhood to thrive and be used and utilized and be lively again. So they're very dedicated and very driven. It's just the resources are limited because obviously, it is a heritage site. It is, a cultural asset, and renovation of such, even though the main room is in a really good condition and the kitchen area too. Again, we're talking, we like challenges, it seems, right, Tamaki? So again, no plumbing, and there are certain hurdles that need to be taken care of. But the main room is in a very, oh, thank you. It's in a very good condition, and you can see the stairs. There are many stories about, what it was. We say 170 years old, but it could have been longer than that. Looking at the traditional way of making the stairs were actually registered, as the tangible asset as well. Some people say that, there was the Heike clan and they had to run away, and they were the ones who knew how to build such structures. And back in the day, this area was very popular for organic farming, and it still is. And, mainly there were farmers in there. So technically, there is a possibility that, some royals brought the knowledge to the village, and they actually helped to build such structures, which are now kind of the common knowledge within the local community. So there's a lot of potential, and just to mention, this property overviews the entire village. So you can see the mountains, you can see the village, and on a good day, you can see a little bit of the sea on the very, very, in between the mountains too. And first, it does give you the sense that the property is a kind of like the guardian of the whole area, and you're on top of the world, or you're on the top of Wakayama or whatever. But truth is that if you sit there and enjoy the view, there is some sense of peace that you can get, because you can really kind of immerse yourself into the feel of the local. And I always feel like my eyes and my ears feel more rested after each trip, because of the amount of green, and the lights are different, and you can really hear and feel the heartbeat of the local community and the village itself. And the acoustic of the place is just incredible. So I do see it as a place where possibly if people want to do maybe some zazen or some kind of yoga retreats, mindfulness, and not only, but to utilize that peacefulness in this special location. We gathered 134 global co-owners, and we already have pretty interesting ideas coming from the community. So I'm really looking forward where that will lead. And we just decided the construction company and the architect. And we're preparing ourselves for the renovation and the process, and doing some research that it requires.
Yeah, congratulations. Very exciting.
Thank you.
So you had 134 investors, you raised 35 million yen.
Yes.
And one of the really interesting parts of the project is about the Buddhist temple, and the temple monk talking about, you have a great video walking around with him, and
Yes.
he shares so many insights about how so few temples have a resident monk anymore. 90% of the monks who are doing it now are part of a temple family. So, of course, in terms of the future, we probably will see a decline in the amount of monks. So, really special place to try to focus on renovating and preserving the culture as well as the building, right?
Definitely.
Right.
Tamaki, would you like to talk more about it?
Sure. So the chief priest monk's name is Nishiyama-san. His wish is he is that he's now actually taking care of 6 temples all on his own, and there are only 3 monks in the same region, and there are 30 temples that they are taking care of right now, and 2 of them doesn't really have their children, so it's going to be like all the temple it's going to be might be on him. So he's really caring about and worrying about his life, if he can survive taking care of all those temple in the future. So reason why he's collaborating with us is that finding other way for the temple to be preserved and used for other purposes is one, and also he wants to change how people will see what monks does for their job. So right now, often people think that there is not really such a bright future, by becoming a monk. But he's actually having a camping site or sauna, just like you shown in a picture, in his own temple. So people might be interested in becoming a monk to have those, have something different and meet many people, like international, travelers, or many people coming from all over Japan and things like that. So that's why he's collaborating with us, even though he's really he's a real monk. Yeah.
It was so interesting to hear him talking about the idea of, he speaks English amazingly well.
Yes.
Talking about Zen Buddhism, mindfulness, how sauna and meditation can go together. So he's got some of these really cool little sauna tents that people can sit in on the property. How innovative, right?
It is, yeah.
That's so nice. Well, we only have about 10 minutes left. Is there anything we haven't talked about yet that you'd really like to explain, or some of the common questions that people often ask, that kind of thing?
Tamaki, is there anything?
Yeah. One thing is that actually by talking to many people who has the problem, many people in the region that has the historic building that they want to preserve, or those owner who individually own it, but they don't want to for those property to become the burden for the next generation. As I said, they're all in 80s and 90s, and how they're trying to come up with the repairing expenses is that by selling the art or historic bits of the properties. So we are losing those historic and cultural valuable thing, even at this moment too. And I feel like this is going to be the last generation that we can, keep them and preserve them as it is. So I think it's really some problem that needs to be solved in Russia. And I think Japan still have many historic and valuable things that can be preserved. And we just need the, power or will or support from those individuals who we can share the vision with.
That's so important. I think in terms of, we mentioned before about the long-term vision, doing 10 projects in 5 years, but your team can only manage a certain amount. Like, you're busy already, right, with the 2 projects. Are you also thinking about expanding your team in the future to take on the many different projects, or is there a certain point where the team doesn't have to do so much and it's kind of passed on to the owners or the accommodation agency managing it?
Right. So we're not really thinking about expansion of our team as Planet Labs, but it's really important to have those collaborators in the local area, because that's going to be the busiest bit after the renovation. Yeah, fundraising part can be only done by us Planet Labs, but after that it's going to be everything will be happening in those local on-site places. So having those collaborators who can resonate with what we are trying to build is really important for our project.
Let's talk about the financing a little bit. So it's very reasonable to be an investor. Each share is 1,000 yen. Minimum purchase is 50,000 yen, which is like $337. And you're really encouraging people to kind of commit to 300,000 yen, and then they kind of get to a better level of ownership and investment. Is that right?
Sorry, we have updated the minimum investment actually because it's
Okay.
pretty hard for us to manage those investors as we have like more investors to come. So
bet,
minimum investment right now is 30K.
300,000.
Sorry,
Mhm.
300K. Yeah,
Yeah.
300,000 in
Which is
Japanese yen.
still very reasonable, right? And then
Compared to, I think so.
and having that investment, you would get dividends or some return. You estimated at first 4%, but recently it's been upped a little bit to like 5 or 7%. Is that right?
Right. So what they compare us with is them buying the property on their own. So if they were going through all the processes, they need to look up all the candidate property that they want to buy, and also the renovation company that they want to outsource to, and also even though they don't live in Japan, they need to manage those second houses. So people cannot make the final decision to buy those houses. But if they could invest in us, then they can enjoy those fun part, and those troublesome part can be handled by us. So that's the one of the motivation that people become an investor of ours.
I think that's a real standout point of what you're doing. You're providing the service and the insights and acting as a bridge between, especially international people who are interested, and just how the heck would I do that on my own, right? Like even for people living in Japan, even if you
I
speak
don't know.
Japanese, it's still a huge hurdle, right?
It's so hard. And also the real estate bit, I thought I could. And my stepfather is actually working in real estate as well. So I always saw it as this like kind of, it goes, it's if you do your research, you can find out nope. The whole process of like merging and legalities, and each property is different and there are different requirements, and then there's neighbors and there's like laws that are only for certain areas, and there's so much that I think I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I mean, I think for me personally, I think I would give up at some point. For me, I feel like it would be impossible to attain all by myself. But I think because we are using the power of a team and global co-investors, and also the locals, and we have the support, we have lawyers, and we have people who are fluent, like Tamaki fluent in Japanese, and also simply because of the fact that we are actually ongoingly visiting more properties, getting more expertise, learning more about it, hearing more about it, and asking more questions. It's an ongoing learning process for us as a team too. I think there's no such a thing as knowing everything, because law and again real estate and each area has a different requirements, and also the grants and everything can be troublesome, and there's a lot of information. But we are happy to learn, and we are happy that we have resources. Simply, we have a great lawyer, we have great local communities that actually provide a lot of information for us too, and we have people that we can ask, and also we learn ongoingly. And I think Tamaki is becoming one big expert, so on everything.
That's so wonderful to hear. What you guys are doing is so exciting. I wish you all the best, and real congratulations on completing your first project with Flying Colors. And I am sure you will reach the goal by the end of March. If you are interested in investing, anyone watching this, of course, you can add your questions and comments below, as well as to reach out through the PlanetDAO website and social media. Give us a rundown of all the places people can connect with you, Monika.
Oh, we're pretty much everywhere. So yes, the website is probably the one that we make sure that it's updated. So you can contact us via the website. You can also find us on mainly LinkedIn. So please, if you're interested, you can follow us, engage with our content. We also have Facebook page. We also have Instagram. So we're pretty much everywhere, and we're trying to do our best. But I would dare to say that the website and LinkedIn is probably place that you'll get the fastest reply and the most updated information.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks everyone for
Thank you.
watching and sharing your comments. Great to see you, Roy, on LinkedIn. Great to see you, Natasha. And great to see you, Louise, on YouTube. Wonderful to have you with us live.
Thank you for watching. And thank you, JJ, for making it possible. And it was a pleasure after so many years of, watching your content to actually talk to you in person.
Well, I can't wait myself to come and visit you and to see one of your projects in action or to be a part of it myself. I'm really a big fan. So keep up the great work.
Thank you very much, JJ.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Take care.
Have a good one.